Self-confidence is a question of trust. Trust in yourself. And you need this trust to be able to convince others to trust in you. A self-confident person makes the others believe that he's always able to solve any kind of upcoming problems, and it is wise to pay attention to his words and actions. Do you trust in yourself? If the answer is yes, then you are self-confident. But how do we acquire self-confidence anyway? I have learned that is by facing and overcoming challenges. Perhaps the biggest challenge I have ever faced in my life was becoming a lawyer. I decided to be a lawyer at the age of 7. I think you would ask, how can anyone make a decision like this at the age of 7? Excuse me. The answer is simple. It was based on childish reasons. That was the time when I first read the novels of Earl Stanley Gardner, an American writer whose most famous character is Perry Mason, the lawyer, king of the courtrooms. I immediately became an avid fan of these novels, so I resolved to be a lawyer. But I had to find out that it's pretty difficult to become one. First of all, that was the difficulty of the study and the course itself. But in my situation, I had to overcome some pretty serious family opposition. I have to tell you something about my family. My family members on my mother's side are mostly chemists. On my father's side, my entire family is made up of engineers. Can you imagine my father's face when I stand in front of him at the age of 7 and told him that, Daddy, I want to be a lawyer one day? First of all, he just said, Son, you're too young to make a decision like this. Later you will think it over. And a few years later, this is just the bad influence of the school, but you will change your mind. And finally, at the age of 18, when I sent the application form, I just said, Son, you're simply insane. I think we all had these type of challenges in our lives, but we need them. And what I have learned from this is really important. As I have measured, I found out that we need these type of challenges, as I said. And it's a really big mistake to start someone's adult life by giving up one's first great challenge. So I persevered, and I'm glad of it. But there are also some simple everyday challenges that all of us faces day by day. For example, from my life. Every day, after 12 or 14 hours of work, I go to the gym. It's the first challenge. Instead of going home, going to the gym, and then start to work out and do some exercises. There's the second one. Because with a tired mind, you have to focus on working out. But if you can do this and complete your daily training, you will feel success. Not just because you did something for a physical condition, but also because you achieved something. You will be already fired like this, and this will make you to go until you reach your goals in every territory of your everyday life. So it's a really useful thing. With self-confidence, we can make great changes in our lives and in other lives. Because a self-confident person trusts in himself, in his decisions, and his way of thinking. And it makes him able to make decisions that others cannot. I'm sure we all know an old guy. Looks like a grandpa from the neighborhood. He's a bit short, huge glasses. But what's special about him, that usually he makes a fortune on the stock market and most of us loses money. He has stacks of self-confidence. And his name is Warren Buffett. I'm sure you all know him. The more we face challenges, the more we succeed at them. The greater the new challenges we can face. My ideal is Warren Buffett. Because he has the self-confidence and he has the capacity to think different than ordinary people. And when I say this, it doesn't mean the way he makes money. I mean the way he gives it away. I don't know if you know, but he offered $40 billion for charity. It's a fantastic amount of money, and also a great challenge. Just imagine his situation. He should have convinced his investors, his family, the whole world, and also himself, that he didn't go insane, and it is a reasonable decision to do. And he was able to do this. And he showed a great example to rich people, how can they make a real change in the world. But let's get back to this amount. Imagine, once again, $40 billion. It's more than the GDP of a few countries. It's more than what most multinational company offers in a decade. Why would anyone offer his whole wealth for charity? Believe me, he's not insane. But he realized that he must use this money for good reasons. To give a chance to people who deserve a chance maybe, but never got one because of their living conditions. So this is my idea. To face challenges again and again and again, until one becomes the sort of person like Warren Buffett, who has the capacity and the will to think differently, to make a change in the world, and to make it a better place. And this is why charity is really important, because it shouldn't be just a false gesture. It should have a meaning of helping others, of granting a better life, not just for our families, but for also the other people who wasn't so lucky as us. So, this example of Warren Buffett shows us that if we trust in ourselves and trust in our decisions, we can make extraordinary things, make a real change in the world. But we shouldn't forget that we have to face challenges to get the self-confidence that is needed for this, that is needed to become special.